Welcome to this channel where every night, a new horror story drags you deeper than the last. Before anything else, hit subscribe right now. If you miss even one night, you'll miss the piece that connects all these stories into something far darker. Comment below where you're watching from and what time it is. I want to know exactly who's awake inside the dark with us. And listen carefully. This story has something hidden, a moment so disturbing, so unexpected, that most people don't recognize it until the very end. If you leave early, you'll never know what really happened. So stay with me all the way to the final second. I'd been hauling freight for 17 years when I pulled into that Texaco off I-40 in New Mexico, about 40 miles west of Tucumcari. It was 2:47 a.m. on October 14, 2019, and my fuel gauge was kissing empty. The place looked operational, lights blazing, gas prices lit up on the sign. Even saw what looked like movement inside the convenience store. I parked my Peterbilt near Pump 7 and grabbed my wallet. The air felt wrong the moment I stepped out. Too still. No wind, no insects, nothing. Just the hum of my idling engine and the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The temperature had dropped, maybe 20 degrees from when I'd last stopped, cold enough to see my breath. Inside, the store was immaculate. Shelves fully stocked, coffee machines gurgling, hot dogs rotating under heat lamps, but no attendant. I called out twice, then figured he was in the bathroom. I poured coffee, grabbed some jerky, and waited at the counter. 5 minutes passed, then 10. That's when I noticed the calendar behind the register. It showed March 1997. Not some old calendar someone forgot to take down. The pages were crisp, new looking. The receipt tape in the register was yellowed and brittle. I picked up a newspaper from the rack. September 3, 1989. The paper felt fresh, not 30 years old. My CB radio crackled from the truck. I could hear other drivers chatting about traffic near Albuquerque. Normal. Real. I looked back at the store. A security monitor behind the counter showed 4 camera feeds. I could see my truck at Pump 7, but the timestamp on the footage read 03/7 September 1997, 20:01 a.m. Then I saw myself on one of the cameras, standing right where I was, holding the coffee cup. But the timestamp still read 1997. I watched the screen as the me on camera slowly turned to look at the camera. I hadn't moved. The me on the screen was moving independently, and his expression was wrong. Terrified, he mouthed something at the camera. It looked like, "Run." A door opened somewhere in the back. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. I dropped the coffee and backed toward the exit. The footsteps stopped. In the reflection of the glass door, I could see someone standing behind the counter now. Tall, wearing an old Texaco uniform, but his face was blurred, like looking through frosted glass. He raised one arm and pointed at me. Every light in the store went out simultaneously. My truck's engine died. The only illumination came from the gas price sign outside, casting red numbers across everything. I could still see the shape behind the counter, perfectly motionless. Then it tilted its head at an angle that wasn't possible, 90 degrees, like a broken doll. I ran, hit the door so hard I nearly broke through the glass. Outside, the temperature felt normal again. I heard trucks on the highway. My rig started on the first turn of the key. I didn't bother with fuel. The gauge now read 3/4 full. It had been empty. I drove straight through to Albuquerque, another 170 miles. When I stopped at a proper truck stop and asked about the Texaco off mile marker 311, the cashier looked confused. She pulled up a map. There was no exit at 311. No gas station for 30 miles in either direction from where I'd stopped. I checked my receipt from earlier that day, before the incident. My last fuel stop had been Amarillo, Texas. According to my logs, I'd driven straight from there to Albuquerque without stopping, 463 miles. My truck can't do that on one tank. It's impossible. But my GPS history shows no stop. My fuel card shows no transaction. The coffee stain on my shirt from the cup I dropped was real though. I can still smell it, and when I develop the disposable camera, I keep in my cab for accident documentation. There was one photo I didn't take. It showed the inside of that gas station. The attendant was clearly visible now, standing behind the counter. His face was normal, human, but he was transparent. Behind him, I could see maybe a dozen other people, all in various states of transparency, all wearing different era uniforms, all staring at the camera. At the bottom of the photo, written in the fog on the glass door, were words I hadn't seen when I was there. Still serving, since 1952. I found news archives later. A Texaco station at that approximate location burned down in 1952. The night attendant, Robert Corrigan, died in the fire. They never determined the cause. 15 other people had vanished from that station over the years before it burned. Travelers who stopped for gas and were never seen again. I've driven past that stretch of I-40 maybe 50 times since then. I've never seen that station again, but sometimes late at night, I catch the smell of old coffee and gasoline when there's no reason for it, and my CB radio occasionally picks up someone asking for assistance at mile marker 311. No one ever answers. Except once, I keyed the mic and said I was nearby. The voice that responded said, "Thank you for stopping, sir. We've been waiting for someone since 1952. I don't use that CB channel anymore." Stioarbe 2. T Mama and T Online Laut, March 22, 2021. I pulled into a BP station outside Knoxville, Tennessee, just past midnight. 22 years behind the wheel. I'd seen strange things, but nothing prepared me for Melissa. That's what her namatag said when I found it later. The parking lot was mostly empty except for 2 other semis and a few cars. I went inside, grabbed supplies, paid, and headed back out. That's when I saw her, woman in her 30s, standing between the pumps, wearing a waitress uniform from what looked like a 1950s diner. She was just standing there, perfectly still, staring at the highway. I nodded at her. She didn't react. As I walked past, she spoke without turning her head. "Do you know what time it is?" Her voice sounded distant, like she was speaking from the far end of a tunnel. "Just past midnight," I said. "What year?" That stopped me. 2C21. "You all right, Mom?" She finally turned to look at me. Her eyes were normal, but something about her expression was wrong. Too blank. "I'm waiting for my husband. He said he'd pick me up after my shift." I've been waiting 3 hours. I felt sorry for her. Thought maybe she'd been stood up or had a fight. "You need me to call someone? Give you a ride somewhere?" "No, he'll come. He promised." Something about the way she said it made my skin crawl. I told her to stay safe and headed to my truck. As I climbed into the cab, I glanced back. She was gone. Not walking away, just gone. I scanned the whole parking lot. Nothing. Inside, I asked the night clerk if he'd seen a woman in an old waitress uniform. He looked at me like I'd grown a second head. "Man, I've been here 6 hours. You're the only person who's come through in the last hour." I described her. His face went pale. He pulled out his phone and showed me a photo from the station's Facebook page. One of those local history posts. Black and white picture from 1959. The woman in it was wearing the same uniform, same face. The caption read, "Melissa Franklin, 34, disappeared from this location on March 22, 1959. Last seen waiting for her husband after her shift at the Silver Star Diner. No trace ever found. 62 years ago. To the day. I should have left right then. But I'm stubborn, and I don't believe in ghosts." I went back outside with the clerk. We searched the entire lot with flashlights. Behind the dumpsters, near the air pumps, everywhere, nothing. Then we found her name tag on the ground. right where she'd been standing. It was old, tarnished brass with faded engraving. Melissa Franklin, Silver Star Diner. The clerk wouldn't touch it. I picked it up. It was ice cold, so cold it burned my fingers. My CB crackled. A woman's voice came through, crystal clear despite no one transmitting. "He's not coming, is he? I've been waiting so long. Please tell me the truth." The clerk heard it too from inside my truck. We both stood there frozen. I don't know what made me respond. Maybe pity. "I don't think he's coming, Melissa." The temperature dropped 30 degrees in seconds. Our breath fogged. Every light in the parking lot flickered. The clerk ran back inside. I stood there alone, holding that name tag, and I saw her again. This time she was flickering, like a damaged film reel. Standing, then sitting on the curb, then standing by the road, then back at the pumps. Different positions, cycling through them every few seconds. "He was supposed to pick me up," she said, her voice coming from everywhere and nowhere. "We were going to go home. He was going to tell me something important." I later found the rest of the story in old newspaper archives. Melissa's husband, Thomas Franklin, had been killed in a car accident on his way to pick her up that night in 1959. Head-on collision 3 miles from the station. He died instantly at 11:47 p.m. Melissa had been waiting for him, not knowing. When she was reported missing the next morning, police found no trace. It was like she'd simply vanished while waiting. The NAMA tag in my hand grew so cold it stuck to my skin. I had to peel it off, leaving a burn mark. "He had an accident, Melissa. I'm sorry. He tried to get to you." The flickering stopped. She stood solid now, real, tears running down her face. "He's not coming." "No, ma'am, he's not." She looked at me with such profound sadness that I felt tears in my own eyes. "Then I don't have to wait anymore." "You don't." She smiled. It was heartbreaking. "Thank you." She faded like morning mist, slowly, peacefully. The cold lifted. The lights steadied. My CB went silent. I kept the name tag. I tried to leave it at the station, but it kept appearing in my truck, in my bag, my pockets. Eventually, I stopped trying to get rid of it. I put it in a small box with a note explaining what happened and the newspaper clippings I'd found. Every year on March 22nd around midnight, my CB picks up the same transmission. A man's voice, desperate. "Melissa, honey, I'm so sorry I'm late. There was an accident, I'm coming. Please wait for me." And a woman's voice, faint but peaceful. "It's okay, Thomas. I'm not waiting anymore." Then silence. I've hauled tankers for 14 years and I know fuel. I know the weight, the smell, the way it sloshes in the tank. On July 8, 2020, I picked up what I thought was a standard load of diesel at a distribution center outside Houston. Manifest said 500 gallons destined for truck stops across Louisiana. The paperwork was legitimate. The seal on the tank was intact. But when I hooked up and pulled the rig, something felt wrong. The weight distribution was off. Not by much, but enough that someone who'd been doing this as long as me would notice. I checked the manifest again. Numbers matched. Probably just paranoia. First delivery was a Love's travel stop near Beaumont. I backed up to their tanks, broke the seal, and connected the hose. That's when I smelled it. Not diesel. Something else, sweet, almost floral, like nothing I'd ever encountered in 15 years of hauling petroleum products. The Love's attendant smelled it too. "That's not right," he said, backing away from the truck. "Shut it down." Now, I closed the valve and disconnected. We called the distribution center. They insisted it was standard diesel, proper documentation, proper source. But we both knew better. The attendant refused the delivery, said he wouldn't put whatever was in my tank into his ground tanks. I was contractually obligated to deliver it somewhere. The company's dispatcher got angry. accused me of trying to dodge work. They ordered me to take it to the next stop on the manifest, a smaller independent station 40 miles west. That drive was the longest of my life. The smell seeped into the cab despite the sealed tank. Sweet, cloying. It gave me a headache that felt like ice picks behind my eyes. Twice, I nearly pulled over to vomit. And the way the trailer moved, it sloshed wrong. Liquid shouldn't move like that. It felt thick, heavy, like the tank was full of syrup, not diesel. The GPS took me down increasingly rural roads. The station on the manifest should have been on Highway 90. Instead, I found myself on a county road with no name, surrounded by swampland. No traffic, no houses, just Spanish moss and dark water. The station appeared like a mirage. Ancient pumps, the kind you don't see anymore. Hand-painted signs so faded I couldn't read them. But it matched the address on my manifest, 1847 County Road J. The lights were on. A man came out, older, maybe 70, wearing coveralls stained with what I hoped was oil. He looked at my truck with an expression I can only describe as hungry. "You're right on time," he said. "We've been waiting for this delivery for 33 years. My blood went cold. 33 years. Since 1987, the last shipment. I checked my manifest again. It was dated July 8, 2020. Today, but in the corner in faded ink I hadn't noticed before, was another date, July 8, 1987. "I think there's been a mistake," I said, reaching for my phone. No signal. I wasn't surprised. The old man smiled, showing too many teeth. "No mistake. Open the tank." Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but I couldn't move. It was like my body wasn't taking commands from my brain anymore. I watched myself climb down, walk to the back of the tanker, and open the valve. What poured out wasn't diesel. It was black, but not like oil. Black like the absence of light. And it moved wrong. It flowed upward as much as down, defying physics. The smell intensified until I could taste it. Flowers rotting in summer heat. The old man produced a rusty bucket and filled it. The liquid screamed. I swear to God, it made a sound like distant voices crying out. He carried the bucket to the station's underground tank and poured it in. The ground around the fill pipe turned black, dead, like the life was being sucked from the soil itself. "What the hell is that?" I managed to ask. He looked at me with eyes that reflected no light. "Fool, just not for engines. This station serves a different kind of traveler. They come here when the roads between places get thin, when the regular world doesn't quite line up right. They need this to keep moving." "That's insane. You're standing in a place that shouldn't exist, delivering something that was loaded 33 years ago, and you want to talk about what's sane?" He laughed. It sounded like grinding metal. I backed toward my cab. He didn't stop me. I climbed in, started the engine. It caught immediately, thank God, and threw the transmission into gear. As I pulled away, I looked in my mirror. The station was gone, just empty swampland. But my tank was empty too. I delivered 500 gallons of something to nowhere. The next station I found, a well-lit shell on the actual Highway 90. I had them inspect my tank. They found residue. Sent it to a lab. Results came back inconclusive. The chemist called me personally. "I don't know what this is," he said. "It's not any petroleum product I've ever seen. It's not any organic compound in our database. Hell, it's got a molecular structure that shouldn't be stable. By all rights, it shouldn't exist." My hauling company had no record of the load. The distribution center denied ever calling me. The manifest I had in my hand started fading, literally disappearing like invisible ink in reverse, until it was just blank paper. But I got paid. Direct deposit, exact amount for the delivery, from an account that, when I tried to trace it, led to a bank that had been closed since 1989. I still haul tankers. I still do the Houston route. But once, Driving through that same area on a foggy night, I saw lights in the swamp, the old station, and there were vehicles around it. Old ones from different decades, and things that looked like vehicles but weren't quite right. Too many wheels, wrong proportions, windows in impossible places. I didn't stop. I've never stopped there again. But sometimes, when I'm hauling a full load, I catch that sweet, rotten smell seeping into the cab, and I have to pull over and check my manifest carefully. Make sure the dates match. Make sure I'm delivering to places that exist in the regular world. Because there are stations out there, between the places we know, that serve travelers we're not meant to see, and they need fuel too. Stowaway 4, Tichi Rasturoam ATTHENDOFT Hall, November 3, 2018. I'd been driving for 19 hours straight, pushing legal limits, trying to make a delivery deadline. The pilot station outside Little Rock, Arkansas, appeared like an oasis. I pulled in around 3:15 a.m., exhausted and desperate for coffee and a bathroom. The place was nearly empty. One clerk behind bulletproof glass, eyes glued to his phone. 2 other trucks in the lot. I grabbed coffee and asked for the restroom key. The clerk slid it under the glass without looking up. Heavy brass key attached to a wooden paddle, the old-fashioned kind. Down the hall, last door on the left, he mumbled. The hallway was longer than it should have been. The building hadn't looked that deep from outside. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead, that irregular pattern that's more disturbing than complete darkness. I passed the first restroom door on the left. It was chained shut, rust bleeding down the wood. Strange, but I figured it was out of order. I kept walking. The hallway kept going and going. I must have walked 100 feet, maybe more. The flickering lights stretched ahead like a corridor with no end. My exhaustion must have been playing tricks. Buildings don't work like this. Finally, another door on the left. No chain. The key fit. Inside was a standard truck stop bathroom. 3 stalls, 2 urinals, concrete floor. Everything covered in that institutional beige tile that's been the same since the 1970s. It smelled like industrial cleaner and something underneath it. Something organic. Decay. I used the urinal quickly, washed my hands, and turned to leave. The door wouldn't open. The key turned. The lock clicked, but the door stayed shut, like it was welded to the frame. I pulled harder, nothing. "Hey!" I shouted. "Door stuck!" No response. I pounded on it. The sound didn't travel right. It was muffled, absorbed, like hitting a door wrapped in blankets. I pulled out my phone. No signal. Just a spinning wheel searching for service. That's when I heard the stall door creak open behind me. I spun around. All 3 stall doors were closed, but I definitely heard one open. Old hinges, that distinctive squeak. I stood there, heart hammering, staring at those 3 identical beige doors. "Hello." My voice sounded small in that tiled space. The first stall door slowly swung open, empty. Just a toilet and empty toilet paper holder. Relief flooded through me. Wind from a vent, I told myself. Old building settling. Then the second door opened, also empty. The third door stayed closed. I should have kept trying the exit. Should have screamed for help. Instead, I walked toward that third stall. Something compelled me. The same morbid curiosity that makes you look at accidents on the highway. I pushed the door open. The stall was deeper than possible. Instead of the expected 4 by 3 space, it stretched back into darkness. The tile continued for maybe 15 feet before fading to black, and there was someone in there. Someone standing at the far end where the light gave out. I stumbled backward. The figure didn't move, didn't make a sound, just stood there, impossibly far back in a space that shouldn't exist. "Who are you?" I asked, voice shaking. It stepped forward. Into the light, it was wearing a trucker's uniform. Jeans, flannel shirt, baseball cap, but the face was wrong, blurred, like looking at someone through dirty glass, and the proportions were off. Arms too long, head tilted at an angle that would have broken a human neck. "You shouldn't be here," it said. The voice came from everywhere. The tiles, the ceiling, inside my own head. "This restroom is for travelers who've gone too far, who've driven too long without rest, who've crossed the line between awake and asleep while still on the road." "I'm awake," I said, "but I wasn't sure anymore." "Are you?" It tilted its head further, now nearly 90 degrees. "Do you remember stopping? Or did you just find yourself here?" "Check your memory, really check." I tried to recall pulling into the parking lot. The details were fuzzy, dreamlike. Had I actually parked, or had I closed my eyes on the highway, just for a second, and then, "This is the place you go," it continued, stepping closer, "when you fall asleep at the wheel. When your body keeps driving but your mind is elsewhere. This is the nowhere place, the between spot. You're not here. Not really. You're still on I-40, drifting across lanes heading for the guardrail at 70 miles per hour. No, that's not. I'm awake. I walked in here. Did you?" It was directly in front of me now. I could see through it, see the tile on the wall behind. "Or are you dreaming this while your truck drifts toward the concrete barrier?" My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. The bathroom walls were closing in, the ceiling pressing down. The figure reached out with those two long arms. "Wake up!" it whispered. "Wake up before you never wake up again." I stumbled backward, hit the door, and fell through it, like it wasn't there. I tumbled into the hallway, landing hard on industrial carpet. The impact knocked the air from my lungs. The clerk was standing over me, shaking my shoulder. "Hey man, you okay? You've been in there 20 minutes. I heard banging. 20 minutes. It felt like 5. The door was stuck," I said, climbing to my feet. My hands were shaking. "And there was someone?" "In the bathroom." The clerk looked skeptical. "Wasn't nobody else in there. I saw you go in. Only person down that hall." I looked back. The hallway was maybe 30 feet long. One door on the left. No chains, no rust. Just a standard single-occupancy restroom. I walked past a chained door. I said, "The hall was way longer. Man, you need coffee. Maybe some sleep. This is the only bathroom. Building's not that big." He showed me security camera footage on his phone. Me walking down a short hallway, entering the bathroom, emerging 20 minutes later looking confused. But I'd been inside for maybe 3 minutes. And that hallway had been 10 times longer. I checked my truck, parked exactly where I remembered, though I had no memory of the actual parking process. My logbook showed I'd been there for 45 minutes. Impossible. I'd barely been inside 10. The delivery I'd been rushing to make, I'd already completed it. According to my GPS and electronic logs, I dropped the load 2 hours earlier and was on my way back. I had no memory of the delivery. None. I found scratches on my truck's right side. Fresh. Paint scraped away. Metal underneath scored deep, like I'd sideswiped something. Guardrail, maybe. At high speed, traffic camera footage from that night, which I obtained later through a friend in highway patrol, shows my truck drifting across lanes on I-40 around 30 a.m., coming within inches of the concrete barrier. Then suddenly correcting, pulling into the pilot station minutes later. I'd fallen asleep. I'd nearly killed myself. And some survival instinct, some last-second awareness had jolted me awake. My mind had created that bathroom, that hallway, that figure. A nightmare designed to shock me conscious. That's the rational explanation. I've told it to myself 1,000 times. But I still have the key, the heavy brass one with the wooden paddle. I found it in my pocket days later. I tried to return it to that pilot station. They said they don't use keys like that. Haven't for years. Everything's code locks now. And sometimes, late at night when exhaustion is pulling at my eyelids, I see a rest stop ahead. I see myself pulling in, walking down a hallway, opening a door, and I see that figure waiting at the end of the stall, tilted head and two long arms, ready to deliver its warning. I don't drive tired anymore ever, because I'm terrified of where I'll end up if I do. In a bathroom at the end of an impossible hallway, being warned by something that shouldn't exist, while my body pilots my truck into oblivion. Storie 5, Texaco, February 16, 2022. I stopped at a Chevron outside Memphis, Tennessee around 11 p.m. standard fuel stop. Nothing special about the location. Clean station, well lit, friendly clerk. I filled up, grabbed some snacks, and on impulse, bought a lottery ticket, Powerball. The jackpot was up to 300 million. The clerk scanned it, handed it to me with a smile. Good luck. Winning numbers get drawn tomorrow night. I stuffed it in my wallet and forgot about it. 3 days later, I'm in Birmingham, stopped at a truck stop, having coffee. The TV above the counter is showing news. Lottery results. I don't usually check. I buy maybe one ticket every few months, never won more than $5. But something made me pull out my wallet. I had the numbers, all of them, all six, $312 million. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold the ticket. I checked again and again. Perfect match. I'd won. After 15 years of grinding miles, sleeping in truck cabs, missing my daughter's birthdays and my wife's anniversaries, I'd finally hit the jackpot. I called my wife Lisa. She screamed. We both cried. I told her I'd drive straight home, claim the ticket, and we'd never have to worry about money again. I'd quit hauling. We'd buy a house, send our daughter Emily to any college she wanted. I was 4 hours from home. Best 4 hours of my life. I planned everything. The house we'd buy. The truck I'd never have to drive again. The look on my dispatcher's face when I quit. I pulled into my driveway at 6:30 p.m. Lisa and Emily were waiting on the porch. Lisa was holding a bottle of champagne. Emily had made a "Congratulations, Dad" sign. I reached for my wallet. The ticket was gone. Panic cold, absolute panic. I tore my truck apart. Checked every pocket, every fold of my wallet, every corner of the cab. Nothing. 4 hours earlier, I'd held it in my hands at that Birmingham truck stop. Now it was gone. Maybe it fell out at the truck stop. Lisa said, trying to stay calm. Call them. I called. Described the ticket, where I'd been sitting. They checked. Nothing. No one had turned in a lottery ticket. I drove back. 2 hours there, 2 hours back. Searched the parking lot on my hands and knees with a flashlight. Checked the bathroom, the restaurant, under every table. The staff helped me search. Security reviewed footage. They saw me with my wallet. Never saw the ticket. It had simply vanished. I called the lottery commission. Explained the situation. They were sympathetic but clear: no ticket, no prize. The rules were absolute. Someone else would claim it with the winning ticket, or it would go unclaimed. I was devastated. Lisa was devastated. We'd had the golden ticket for 3 hours. Now we had nothing. 2 days later, I got a voicemail. Unknown number. Man's voice, older, calm. Hello, David. This is regarding your lottery ticket. The one you lost. I'd like to discuss a transaction. Meet me at the Chevron where you purchased it. Tomorrow night. Come alone. I should have ignored it. Scam, obviously. But desperation makes you stupid. I drove to that Chevron, arrived at 1:55 p.m. Same clerk as before, different shift. I waited in my truck. At exactly 11:10 Hoser, an old Lincoln Continental pulled up. Black, immaculate. Looked like it rolled off the showroom floor in 1975. A man got out. 70 years old, maybe older, wearing an expensive suit. He walked to my truck, tapped on the window. I rolled it down. He smiled. David, thank you for coming. I have something that belongs to you. He held up my lottery ticket. The actual ticket. I recognized the crease in the corner where I'd folded it. How did you? I bought it from you, he said calmly. I didn't sell it to you. It was stolen. Semantics. You had it. Now I have it. But I'm a reasonable man. I'm willing to sell it back. He named a price. $50,000. I almost laughed. That ticket is worth $300 million. You're insane. Am I? Do you have $50,000? No. Then you have $0, because without the ticket, you have nothing. But $50,000, that's achievable. You could borrow it, mortgage your house, drain your retirement, and you'd still walk away with it, able to claim your $300 million. The logic was insane, but he was right. Without the ticket, I had nothing. With it, even at $50,000, I'd still win millions.
I need time,
I said. You have 3 days. After that, I claimed the ticket myself. You get nothing. He handed me a business card. No name. Just a phone number. He got back in his Lincoln and drove away. I spent 3 days in hell. I couldn't get a loan. No bank would give me $50,000 on a promise of lottery winnings. I couldn't mortgage the house fast enough. My retirement had maybe $30,000. I begged family members, told them I'd pay them back 10 times over. They thought I'd lost my mind. On the 3rd day, I can't get the money. Pity, the old man said. I'll claim the ticket tomorrow. Wait, please. There has to be another way. Silence. Then, there is always another way. But the price is different. What price? The ticket for your ticket. Your winning lottery ticket for your lottery ticket in life. You get the money, but you lose something else. Something you won't miss until it's gone. That's meaningless. What are you talking about? You'll understand when you agree. Do you agree? I should have said no. Should have hung up. But I thought of Lisa, of Emily, of never having to drive another mile. Yes, I agree. Good. Check your wallet. I did. The lottery ticket was there, in my wallet, where I'd checked 100 times, just sitting there like it had never left. I claimed it the next day. They verified it. $312 million. After taxes, a lump sum of $187 million. We bought the house, sent Emily to her dream school. I quit hauling. Everything I'd wanted, but something was wrong. I couldn't figure it out at first. Everything seemed perfect. Then I realized Lisa didn't laugh anymore. Not really. She smiled, said the right things, but the genuine joy was gone. And Emily, she looked at me differently, grateful but distant, like she was looking at a stranger. I checked old photos, videos on my phone. My memories felt right, but the evidence was different. Birthday parties I remembered attending, I wasn't in the photos. School plays I'd sworn I'd made, no videos of me there. Anniversaries, holidays, moments I clearly recalled, no proof I'd been present. It was like my presence had been edited out of our history. Not completely, but enough. The important moments, the memories that build love and connection. They were still there, but I wasn't in them. I'd traded my lottery ticket in life, my place in my family's memories, for the lottery ticket in my wallet. Lisa filed for divorce 8 months later. Said she didn't know me anymore, that we'd grown apart. Emily went to college and barely calls. When she does, she's polite, distant, like talking to an uncle she vaguely remembers. I have $187 million. I have a mansion, cars, everything money can buy. But when I look at old photos, I'm fading. Literally, my image is becoming translucent. In some recent pictures, you can barely see me at all. I tried to find the old man. The Chevron clerk had no memory of him. The security footage from that night showed me talking to empty air. His business card is blank now, just white paper. I won the lottery, and I lost everything that mattered. because there's always a price. And sometimes, you don't know what you're paying until the bill comes due. I drive sometimes, even though I don't have to. Late at night, aimlessly. I stop at gas stations and watch other truckers. Tired, broke, missing their families, but present, real, connected. I'd give anything to go back to that moment, to lose that ticket and keep my life. But the old man doesn't answer anymore, and I'm disappearing slowly from everything I ever loved. The money is worthless, but it's all I have left. The Midnight Convoy, August 11th, 2019. I was hauling refrigerated goods from Dallas to Kansas City, running late due to construction delays. Around 1:30 a.m., I found myself on a desolate stretch of Highway 69 in southeastern Kansas. No traffic, no lights, just darkness and my headlights cutting through the night. Then I saw them. Trucks, a whole convoy of them, maybe 8 or 9 semis, all running in perfect formation. They appeared out of nowhere, no on-ramp, just suddenly there ahead of me. All identical. White Kenworths, older models from the 1980s, no company markings. I've been hauling for 20 years. You develop an instinct about other drivers. Something about this convoy felt wrong. They maintained exact spacing, exact speed, no variance, like they were connected by invisible rails. My CB crackled. Convoy to the new guy. You're welcome to join up. We take care of our own out here. I keyed the mic. Appreciate it. Where you boys headed? Same place we're always headed. The terminal at the end of the line. Which company you running for? Silence. Then laughter. Multiple voices all laughing at once through the CB. Not cruel, but knowing. Like I'd asked a stupid question. No company, friend. We're independent. Been running this route for a long time. I should have dropped back. Should have let them pull away. But curiosity got the better of me. I accelerated, moved into the convoy formation. The truck ahead of me flashed its lights. Welcome signal. I settled in. For the first few miles it was fine, actually pleasant. There's a comfort in convoy driving. You're not alone out here in the dark. But then I started noticing details. None of the trucks had license plates. Their trailers didn't sway or bounce like normal rigs. They glided, perfectly smooth, like they weren't touching the road. And I couldn't see the drivers. Each cab was dark, windows black, no silhouette visible, even with my high beams reflecting off their mirrors. So, how long you boys been running together? I asked over the CB. Long enough that we've forgotten what home looks like, came the reply. Long enough that the road is home now. You ever stop? Fuel, food, rest? We stop when we reach the terminal, not before. What terminal? You'll see it when we get there. Everyone does eventually. The highway stretched ahead straight as an arrow, but we'd been driving for 40 minutes and hadn't passed a single mile marker. No exits, no signs, just endless asphalt and darkness. I checked my GPS, no signal. My phone showed no service, which was impossible. I'd had bars 20 minutes ago. My odometer wasn't moving. The numbers stayed frozen. This highway is wrong, I said into the CB. Where the hell are we? Same place we've always been. Same place you are now. The in-between. The forever road. The place truckers go when they drive too long, when they don't know where they are anymore but keep driving anyway. My fuel gauge started dropping. Fast. Quarter tank, eighth tank, empty. But the engine kept running. The truck kept moving. Let me out, I said. I need to get off this highway. Can't stop now. Once you join the convoy, you see it through to the terminal. I tried to brake. My foot pressed the pedal, but nothing happened. The truck maintained speed. I tried to steer out of formation. The wheel wouldn't turn. It was locked in place, keeping me perfectly aligned with the others. Panic set in. I pounded on the horn. The other trucks didn't react. I screamed into the CB. No response, just static now. And underneath the static, something else. Voices, dozens of them, hundreds. all saying the same thing. Keep driving, keep driving, keep driving. The highway ahead began to change. The asphalt turned darker, like it was absorbing light. The lane lines glowed faintly, pulling us forward. And in the distance, I saw something. A structure. Massive. A building that couldn't exist. The terminal. It stretched across the entire horizon. A warehouse complex so vast it made airport hangars look like sheds. Loading docks by the thousands. And trucks. Thousands of them. All parked. All white Kenworths. All empty. Welcome home, the CB crackled. Welcome to the end of the line. The convoy was heading straight for it. I'd be parked there. Forever. Another empty truck in an infinite terminal, driver gone, absorbed into the highway itself. I did the only thing I could think of. I grabbed my phone, still no signal, and threw it at the windshield as hard as I could. The glass spiderweb cracked, and for just a second, I saw through it, saw the real world, the highway as it actually was. I was drifting across lanes, heading for the ditch at 70 miles per hour. I'd fallen asleep. This was a dream, a hallucination. I was seconds from a crash that would kill me. I jerked the wheel, hard. The real wheel, not the dream wheel. My truck swerved violently. The convoy, the terminal, the forever road, all of it shattered like broken glass. I felt the actual truck's tires hit the shoulder, felt the vehicle bucking under me as I fought to control it. I came to a stop, half in the ditch, half on the shoulder, engine screaming, every warning light on the dashboard flashing. I was shaking so badly I could barely unbuckle my seatbelt. A highway patrol car pulled up 10 minutes later. The trooper said a passing motorist had called it in, saw me drifting, thought I might be having a medical emergency. "You fall asleep?" he asked. "Yeah," I admitted. "I think I did." He gave me a warning, told me to find a rest stop, get some real sleep before I killed myself. I promised I would. But before he left, I asked him, "You ever hear stories about truckers seeing weird stuff on this highway? Convoys that aren't real?" He got quiet, then nodded. My dad was a trucker. Drove this route for 30 years. Toward the end, he'd tell me about the white Kenworths. Said he saw them a few times when he'd been driving too long. Called them the ghost convoy. Truckers who drove until they couldn't stop. Until the road swallowed them. "What happened to your dad?" "He retired. Just in time, I think. Said he saw the terminal once. The place where the ghost convoy was headed. Said it scared him so bad he sold his truck the next day and never drove long haul again. I found a rest stop. Slept for 6 hours. When I woke, I checked my truck thoroughly. The fuel tank was nearly full. It had never been empty. The odometer showed exactly the mileage it should. Everything was normal, but my windshield had a spiderweb crack in it, right where I'd thrown my phone in the dream. Except my phone was in my pocket, undamaged. I still drive trucks, but I'm obsessive about rest now. I stop every 2 hours. I never push past my limits, because I know what's waiting for drivers who do. I've seen the convoy, I've seen the terminal, and sometimes late at night on empty highways I see them in my mirrors. White Kenworths, running in perfect formation, getting closer. I speed up. I take the next exit. I get away. Because I know that if they catch me again, if I fall asleep one more time and join their convoy, I won't wake up. I'll be parked in that terminal. Forever. Another ghost on the forever road, driving toward nothing, becoming part of the highway itself. The road is patient. It's always there. Always waiting. And it never forgets. The thing in the shower. December 19th, 2020. I pulled into a TA travel center outside Springfield, Missouri, just past 2 a.m., 26 hours behind the wheel with only short breaks. Exhausted, filthy, desperate for a shower and clean clothes. The kind of exhausted where your bones ache and your eyes feel full of sand. I paid for a shower pass at the desk. The clerk handed me a ticket and a towel, room 7. Down the hall, past the bathrooms. The shower facilities were standard truck stop configuration. A long hallway with individual shower rooms, each with a toilet, sink, and enclosed shower. Stall, private, clean. I'd used thousands just like it over my 18 years hauling. Room 7 was at the end of the hall. The door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open. Standard setup, white tile, harsh fluorescent lighting. Everything looked fine except for one detail. The mirror was covered. Someone had draped a towel over it. Weird, but not alarming. Maybe the previous user had a superstition. I removed the towel, tossed it aside, and started the shower. The water pressure was good, hot. I stripped down and stepped into the stream. I'd been in there maybe 2 minutes when the lights flickered. Not unusual in old truck stops. Then they steadied. I went back to scrubbing. The temperature dropped. I don't mean the water, the air temperature. My breath fogged. I could see it even through the shower steam. In a matter of seconds, the room went from warm to cold enough that I was shivering under the hot water. Then I heard it. Behind me, in the room, a wet sound, like someone stepping on soaked carpet. Slow, deliberate. I spun around. Through the shower curtain, I could see a shadow. Someone was standing in the bathroom, between me and the door. "Occupied," I yelled. "Wrong room." The shadow didn't move, didn't respond, just stood there. I turned off the water, grabbed the curtain to pull it back, then stopped, because I could see details now. The shape was wrong, too tall. 7 feet, maybe more. And the proportions were off. Arms too long, reaching almost to the floor. "Who's there?" My voice cracked. The shadow tilted its head. Then it spoke. The voice came from everywhere at once, from the walls, the pipes, inside my own skull. "Did you see me?" "What?" "In the mirror, when you uncovered it." "Did you see me?" I hadn't. I'd glanced at my own reflection for half a second, nothing more. "No, I don't. You should have kept it covered. Mirrors are windows, and you opened mine." The shower curtain moved, not from any breeze. It pressed inward like something was pushing through it from the outside, but the curtain itself didn't part. The shape bulged toward me. I backed against the tile wall. No room to maneuver. No weapon. Trapped. "What do you want?" "To be seen. I've been in here so long. In the glass, in the water, in the pipes, waiting for someone to look, really look." The curtain pressed harder. I could see details now. Not a shadow. Something else. Translucent. Like something made of dirty water and darkness. And it had eyes. Too many eyes. All over its form. All focused on me. I didn't mean to. "I'll cover the mirror again. I'll leave. Too late. You've seen me now. Really seen me. And once you've seen, you can't unsee." It came through the curtain. Not physically. The plastic didn't tear. It just passed through, like the curtain was smoke. And it was on me, covering me, cold and wet and wrong. It felt like drowning. Like being submerged in freezing water while something held me under. I couldn't breathe, couldn't scream. It was in my lungs. In my throat. And those eyes, they were inches from my face now, studying me. "You'll carry me with you now," it whispered. "Every mirror, every reflection, every surface that shows you back to yourself. I'll be there, watching, waiting." My vision blurred, consciousness slipping. I thought I was drowning, dying, right there in shower room 7. Then I heard pounding, hard, on the door. "You okay in there? You've been in there 30 minutes. Other drivers waiting." The pressure released. I gasped, sucked in air, collapsed to the floor of the shower. The cold was gone. The thing was gone. Just me, naked and shaking on wet tile. "I'm fine," I called back. "Sorry, just finishing." I dressed faster than I ever have in my life. Didn't look at the mirror. Couldn't. I could feel it. Something watching from the glass. I covered the mirror with the towel, the same one that had been there when I arrived, and got out. The clerk looked concerned when I returned the key. "You look pale, man." "You okay?" "Fine. The shower. Does it have problems? Cold water? Anything? Not that I know of. Why? I couldn't explain. Couldn't tell him about the thing in room 7. He'd think I was insane. Nothing. Forget it. But I couldn't forget. Because it had been telling the truth. I see it now. Every time I look in a mirror, every reflective surface, it's there, in the background. Too tall. Too many eyes, watching. At first, it was subtle. A shadow where there shouldn't be one. A shape in the peripheral. But it's getting clearer. More defined. Last week, I looked in my bathroom mirror at home, and I could see its face clearly behind my reflection, almost in focus. My wife asked why I'd covered all the mirrors in our house. I told her I didn't like looking at myself anymore. She thinks I'm having a mental breakdown. Maybe I am, but I know what I saw, and I know what's in the mirrors now, something that shouldn't exist, something that used to be trapped in the glass of shower room 7 at a truck stop in Missouri, something I set free by uncovering that mirror, and it follows me everywhere. I can't escape my reflection, can't avoid every mirror, every window, every puddle that shows my face, and it's always there now, behind me, getting closer. I called the travel center, asked if they'd had problems with room 7. The manager said they'd sealed it off 3 years ago, said drivers complained about it, feeling watched, feeling cold. Some refused to go in after the first minute, said there was something wrong with the room. They were going to renovate it, tear out the old fixtures, replace everything. But every contractor who started the work quit within a day. Said they felt something in there. Something that didn't want to leave, so they locked the door, took room 7 out of rotation. But I was in there. December 19th, 2020. I have the receipt, the shower pass. It's real. The manager insisted it was impossible. Room 7 had been locked for 3 years. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know if I was in a real room or some kind of in-between place. A room that exists only sometimes, only for certain people. What I know is that I see it now, every day. Every time I catch my reflection, it's getting closer, the distance between us shrinking. Soon it won't be behind me anymore. Soon it will be standing where I stand. And I think that's what it wants, to trade places, to step out of the mirror and leave me trapped in the glass, to take my reflection and make it real, to make me the thing that watches from mirrors, cold and waiting for someone else to look. I've started avoiding my own reflection. I shower in the dark now. I don't look at windows. I keep my eyes down when I pass storefronts. But you can't avoid yourself forever, and it's patient. It's been waiting for years, decades maybe. One more driver, one more person stupid enough to uncover the mirror in room 7. And now it has me. Last night, I caught my reflection in a darkened window. For just a moment, I wasn't sure which side of the glass I was on. The cargo that moved. April 3rd, 2021. I took a job hauling a specialized load from a pharmaceutical distribution center in Memphis to a medical research facility outside Atlanta. The pay was triple my usual rate, $3,000 for a single overnight run. I should have asked why. The cargo was sealed containers, 6 of them, each about the size of a coffin, loaded into my refrigerated trailer. The guy at the distribution center was nervous, kept checking his clipboard, wouldn't make eye contact. Keep the refrigeration unit at exactly 38 degrees, he said. Not 37, not 39. Exactly 38. If the temperature deviates more than 1 degree for more than 5 minutes, call this number immediately. He handed me a card with a phone number. No name, no company. What's in them, I asked. Medical specimens, research materials. You don't need to know more than that. I'd hauled medical cargo before. Organs for transplant, research materials, biological samples. Always sealed, always cold. Nothing new. But something about this felt different. The way he avoided my eyes, the specific temperature requirement, the absurd pay for a standard route. I loaded up and headed out. Made it about 2 hours down I-65 before I noticed something wrong. The trailer was moving, not swaying from the road, actually moving inside, like something was shifting position back there. I pulled onto the shoulder, got out, checked the doors, still sealed, still locked, security tape unbroken. But I could hear something now, a sound from inside, soft, rhythmic, almost like breathing. I called the number. It rang 12 times before someone picked up. Man's voice, clinical, cold, yes. This is the driver with the Memphis cargo. Something's moving in my trailer. What's the temperature? Exactly 38 degrees. But that's not. Then there's no problem. Continue to the delivery point. Do not open the trailer. Do not deviate from the route. Something's alive back there. Continue to the delivery point. He hung up. I stood there on the shoulder, 18-wheeler idling, trying to decide what to do. The cargo was sealed. The paperwork was legitimate. I was being paid to transport it, not question it. But that sound, that breathing. I got back in the truck, kept driving. But I couldn't stop listening. The sound got louder. Not just one source of breathing, multiple, 6 sources, one from each container. Then came the scratching, soft at first, like fingernails on metal, coming from inside the trailer, inside the containers. Something was trying to get out. I pulled over again, called the number, no answer. Called 5 more times, nothing. The scratching got more frantic, louder. Whatever was in those containers was awake and aware and trying to escape. I made a decision, probably the wrong one. I broke the security tape and opened the trailer doors. The containers were covered in frost, despite the temperature being exactly 38 degrees. And they were vibrating, all 6 of them, shaking hard enough to rattle the trailer floor. I approached the nearest one. Read the label, experimental specimen. Category, reclaim. Status, containment breach protocol active. Reclaim. What the hell did that mean? The scratching from inside became pounding. Hard, heavy, like fists against the metal. The container's lid buckled. Something inside was incredibly strong. I backed away, started closing the trailer doors, then stopped, because one of the containers, the one nearest the door, had cracked, a split in the metal, and something was looking out at me through the gap. An eye, human eye, but the color was wrong, too pale, almost white, and it was moving in ways eyes don't move, independently, like a chameleon's. The container burst open. What came out wasn't human, not anymore. It had the shape of a person. Arms, legs, torso, head, but the proportions were wrong, too long. And the way it moved, jerky, twitching like it was learning how to operate a body it didn't own. It looked at me with those pale eyes, then it smiled. Too many teeth, teeth that weren't right, sharp, predatory, driver, it said. The voice was human but layered, multiple voices speaking at once. Thank you for opening the door. I ran. Didn't think, just ran back to the cab, climbed in, threw the truck into gear. I heard the thing jump from the trailer, heard it hit the pavement. In my side mirror, I saw it stand up, uninjured. It watched me drive away, still smiling. The other 5 containers were still in my trailer, still sealed, still vibrating. I drove 90 miles per hour down I-65. I had to get to the delivery point, had to get these things out of my truck. Whatever they weren't staying with me. The pounding from the remaining containers got worse, louder, more desperate. They wanted out. All of them. One of them broke through. I heard the metal tear. Heard something moving in the trailer. Then I heard it at the wall that separated the trailer from the cab. Scratching. The same sound as before, but different. This one was methodical. It was cutting through the wall. The metal started to buckle. I could see it bending inward, see the claws, because they were claws now, not hands, piercing through. 3 of them, long, sharp. The thing pulled itself through, squeezed into the cab. It was smaller than the first one, more humanoid. But the face was all wrong, stretched, too many features. Eyes where there shouldn't be eyes. We're supposed to be there already, it said. Multiple voices again. Why are you driving so slow? I swerved. Hard, trying to throw it off balance. It barely moved. Just stood there in the cab, impossibly balanced despite the truck's momentum. We were supposed to be delivered, it continued, to the facility. They made us. They'll know what to do with us. But you delayed us. Why? What are you? I managed to ask. Reclaimed, rebuilt, better. It tilted its head. We were dead. We were brought back, improved. We're supposed to replace what was lost, fill positions, live lives. But first we have to get there. More containers broke open. I could hear them. 4 more. All moving, all conscious, all coming toward the cab. I saw the exit for the research facility. Took it going 70, tires screaming. The truck almost tipped. The things in the trailer were thrown around. I heard them crashing into the walls. The facility gate was closed. I drove through it. Didn't slow down. Metal shrieked. Guards ran out. I stopped in the middle of their courtyard, jumped out and screamed for help. They knew. Of course they knew. This had happened before. They had protocols. Men in hazmat suits swarmed my trailer with nets and tranquilizer guns. The things tried to run, tried to escape, but there were too many guards, too much preparation. They recaptured 5 of them. The 6th, the first one that had escaped, was still out there. They told me not to worry about it, said they'd handle it. A man in a suit paid me in cash, $6,000 instead of 3, hazard pay. He made me sign a form, non-disclosure, threatened legal action if I ever spoke about what I'd seen. What were they? I asked. Experimental reclamation project, using deceased donors to create augmented biological assets. The technology isn't perfected yet. Sometimes they wake up during transport. It's unfortunate. They were people. You brought dead people back. We're trying to solve death, he said simply. There are complications. They cleaned my trailer, repaired the damage, told me to forget it ever happened. I tried. God, I tried. But I see that thing's face, the one that escaped, those pale eyes, that too wide smile. And I wonder where it is now. If they ever caught it, if it learned to look human enough to blend in. And I wonder how many others there are. How many failed experiments walking around, looking almost right but not quite. Reclaimed, rebuilt, trying to fill the lives they used to have before they died. I quit hauling refrigerated cargo. Can't do it anymore. Every cold trailer feels like it might have something inside. Something that used to be human. Something that's not anymore. And late at night when I'm alone, I hear scratching. Soft, persistent, like fingernails on metal. Like something still trying to get out. The station that repeats. January 11th, 2023. I was hauling electronics from San Diego to Phoenix, running through the night to avoid daytime heat. Around 3 a.m., I stopped at a Shell station off I-8, about 60 miles east of El Centro. Standard setup. 6 pumps, small convenience store, bathroom around the side. I fueled up, went inside for coffee. The clerk was a kid, maybe 22, staring at his phone. I paid, used the bathroom, got back on the road. 10 miles later, I realized I'd left my phone charging on the bathroom counter. I turned around, found the exit, pulled back into the same Shell station. Same 6 pumps, same layout, but something felt off. The clerk inside was different. Older man, maybe 50. He looked up when I walked in. "Help you? I was just here 10 minutes ago. Left my phone in the bathroom." He looked confused. "You're my first customer in 2 hours. I went to the bathroom anyway. My phone wasn't there. I checked twice. Checked the counter, the floor, everywhere." I went back to the clerk. "Are you sure no one else has been in tonight?" "Young guy, early 20s, working the register. I'm the only one here. Been here since 10 p.m. You feeling okay?" I left. Confused. Maybe I'd gotten the stations mixed up. Maybe I'd stopped somewhere else and didn't remember clearly. Exhaustion playing tricks. I got back on I-8 westbound, heading back towards San Diego to retrace my route. I'd find the right station. 20 miles later, I saw a Shell station. Same design. I pulled in, certain this was the one. Different clerk. Woman in her 30s. I asked about my phone. She said she'd just started her shift 20 minutes ago, hadn't seen any phone. I checked the bathroom. Nothing. Something was deeply wrong. I got back in my truck and checked my GPS history. According to the log, I'd only stopped once tonight, at mile marker 87 on I-8, but I'd now pulled into 3 different Shell stations, all with different clerks, all claiming I hadn't been there before. I drove back to mile marker 87, found the Shell station, same design, same layout, pulled in for the 4th time. The clerk was the kid from the first stop, early 20s, staring at his phone. "I was here earlier," I said, "about 30 minutes ago." He looked up, annoyed. "You're my first customer tonight, man." "No, I bought coffee. Right here. I used the bathroom. I left my phone." "Look, I've been here since 11 p.m. Nobody's been in. You want coffee? I'll sell you coffee, but stop messing with me." I went to the bathroom. My phone was on the counter, exactly where I'd left it, still plugged into my portable charger, battery at 97%. I grabbed it, went back to my truck, and checked the time. 3:17 a.m. When I'd first stopped, it had been 3:05 a.m. I'd spent 40 minutes driving around, stopping at multiple stations, but only 12 minutes had passed. I got back on the road, heading east toward Phoenix. I didn't stop, didn't even slow down. I watched the mile markers, 87, 88, 89, normal progression. Then I saw another Shell station, same design. I passed it without stopping. Checked my GPS, it wasn't on the map. No gas station at that location, mile marker 91. Another Shell station, identical, not on the GPS. Mile marker 93. Another one. They were appearing every 2 miles, all identical, all lit up like they were open. And I could see movement inside each one, different clerks, different customers. But the buildings were exactly the same. My CB radio crackled. "Westbound trucker. You seeing these stations?" I grabbed the mic. "Yeah. What the hell is going on? You stopped at one, didn't you? Went inside? Used the bathroom?" "Yeah. First one. Mile marker 87. You're stuck in the loop now. Same as me. Same as the others." The station repeats. You'll keep seeing it. Over and over. Different versions. Different people. But the same station. How do I get out? Static. Then another voice. Different driver. You don't. I've been seeing these stations for 3 years. Can't stop seeing them. Every highway, every route. They're always there. Different locations, but the same station. The one you stopped at. The one that got you. A third voice. I stopped at one in Ohio 6 years ago. I see it everywhere now. Different clerks. Different layouts sometimes. But I know it's the same one. The station that doesn't exist in one place. It exists everywhere. I passed another station. Mile marker 97. Pulled my eyes away from it. Focused on the road. But in my peripheral vision, I could see another. One. Mile marker 99. What happened? I asked into the CB. Why does it do this? the first voice responded. Nobody knows. Best guess? It's a station that exists in multiple places at once, some kind of dimensional overlap. You stop there, use it, you become connected to it, tied to it. You'll see it forever, every road, every night, the station that follows you. I saw my exit for Phoenix, took it, got off I-8. The city lights were ahead, civilization, safety. There was a Shell station at the bottom of the off-ramp, same design, same layout. The clerk inside looked up as I drove past, young kid, early 20s, staring at his phone. I've been seeing that station for 8 months now. Different cities, different states. It's always there. Sometimes as an actual building I can pull into. Sometimes as a flicker in the corner of my eye. Sometimes as a location on my GPS that doesn't match reality. I've stopped at it a few times. Different clerks every time. None of them remember me. The bathrooms are always slightly different. The products on the shelves change. But the layout is identical. And there's always a sense that I've been there before, that I'm returning to somewhere I never really left. Other drivers have confirmed it. On the CB, late at night, you seeing the station, and we all know which one they mean. The Shell station that appears everywhere, that follows certain drivers, that marks you once you've stopped there. I don't know if it's real, if it's some kind of haunting, if it's a psychological effect of sleep deprivation and long-haul driving, if it's a glitch in reality. What I know is I see it, every night, every route. The station at mile marker 87 that exists at every mile marker everywhere. And I know that one night I'll stop there again, not because I choose to, but because eventually that station is the only one I'll be able to see, the only place I'll be able to stop. And when that happens, when it's the only station left in my world, I think I'll go inside and never come back out, because that's what happens. The other drivers on the CB, there are fewer of them every year. Fewer voices responding when someone asks, "You seeing the station?" They've stopped. They've gone inside. They've become part of it. And one day, I will too. The station is always there, always waiting, always the same. And once you've stopped, you can never really leave.